That's the smoothest it's been since day one. Fucking right. Holy.
Must be the guest.
Must be the guest. Yeah. It's the guest and the song. You can't imagine how pumped I am for that to have gone smoothly. And everyone else is pumped as well. Anyway, what a great way to start and a great song. And we are into episode 14 of OGA Athletics, Opening the Echo Chamber podcast. And we've got some roll call for those that can't see us. We've got a mixed up group today, but it's always a good group. So Mike Nederhoff, part of the usual OGA crew. Troy Scheer's filling in for, well, actually, you're filling for two. You feel like you can handle both?
You get double questions tonight.
Jay Beavis and John Murphy are off this week. And we got a special guest, Brennan Marcoux, who we're going to learn all about just like everything tonight, athletic. And it's not a linear line, so...
No, it's pretty up and down and all around.
It's pretty up and down all around, which is kind of a cool way to go into this song that you chose, which is Freedom, Rage Against the Machine. Yeah. So why would you pick that song?
That is the song I've listened to probably every rugby game for the past 15 years. I don't know where it came from, but the moment I get into my vehicle or I'm on the way to the game, that is the song that goes in, and then the focus begins.
So... I mean, you've alluded to it, rugby,
yeah.
And people are wondering, okay, well, what's Brennan all about? Rugby is a big part of it. But I think that's kind of cool. We got Troy here, because, I mean, for people to know, Troy was one of our earlier guests, and actually been on twice now. Once as a guest, and to fill in before.
Yeah.
And then you, I was thinking about it in the build-up to this. I mean, some of us have got some pretty straight lanes of athletic activities, but you've got martial arts, but then I remember hearing when Jay was with us, you guys talked about archery, and you've kind of gone a bit outdoorsy too.
Yeah, I got into hunting.
Yeah, okay.
So that was kind of like a big transition for me. Like I think I had one cousin when I was younger that kind of got me into it, but then after that, I was like a city kid, and then I could care less about being outside. Unless I was doing something that was specific, and then got back into archery, and then suddenly I'm finding myself in like minus ridiculous weather in a tree stand and having everybody ask me, "Are you crazy? Like, what do you? The winds are blowing," and I'm like, "He's coming."
but this is the thing. Like, I don't, Mike, if you would agree with me, I certainly am not. Like, I just openly say it. I do outdoor activities, but I'm not an outdoor guy. An outdoor guy. Like, I'm not. I've never done that stuff. I'm not against it. I've fished or whatever. But, like, would you consider yourself... You're an outdoor activity. You do, like, all kinds... But are you...
I'm not. So,
the
latest trend in cycling is bike packing.
Oh, yeah.
I've got no desire to put a tent and get out on my bike and eat.
You want to glamp. You want to glamp when you're riding.
I'm a Four Seasons camper.
Ride your bike to Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Get out. Yeah. But I mean,
have a nice spa.
Yeah, I love it. That's why I think this is a cool group, because when I and this group wouldn't know this, but I think one of the first times in the last couple of years when we kind of reacquainted each other through rugby and whatnot, but I was going up. For those that don't know, to the Northern Lake area here, and it was on the way to Christopher Lake. And then I'm getting gas. So for those that are geographically wondering what this is 2 hours-ish north of Saskatoon, up into the tree lines and all the lakes. So it's a small little gas station, kind of the last gas station before you go up into the parks. I'm going in or coming out after getting gas, and I run into Brennan, and I'm looking at him, and he's just kind of nonchalant. And you were on your way up, right?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh, what are you doing there?" He's by himself. And then, what were you doing? And it blew me away. I couldn't stop thinking about it.
I was going camping on a back road lake behind Weaquin for the weekend. Just
by yourself?
By myself, pitching a tent. Went out kayaking and fishing, and just kind of just lived not off the land, but yeah, off the land for the weekend, and
Awesome.
caught a couple of fish, ate that, and I had some beans, and yeah.
And clearly you survived to tell about it.
I did, yeah, that one. But we've had some interesting, times up at that lake, but yeah.
But that was the cool kind of image to me was I was literally getting gas. Yeah. I think it was on the way to a nice cabin at Emma or something. That's my roughing it, right? Like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going camping, and then you're literally, I look at the vehicle you're driving, like, fuck, this guy's like gonna go in the middle of nowhere, no signal, and then I think you probably fished and ate your fish.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the modern day.
I think it was just May long weekend. It was like, I'm gonna go away for the weekend and sleep on the dirt somewhere.
But if you always, is that?
Not really. Like we used to fish and camp a lot when I was a kid, and then sports took over. And then 2020, we couldn't play rugby anymore, so Jess and I just started hiking and fishing more. And then
Jess is your girlfriend, your partner,
and then it just kind of. We went, well, that's not enough, so let's go up north and sleep in the dirt for the weekend and see how that goes. And then it went, well, let's hike up a mountain and sleep there for the night and see how that goes. And it just kind of moved from there into more interesting scenarios that we put ourselves in.
So, I think for me, for maybe Troy be cool to hear your viewpoint, because when I think of the martial arts and the coaching and everything, and the same for you with the cycling, but like the planning, the meticulous steps that you've got to do to get somewhere, right? Like you can't, in a fight or whatever, at least at a high level, it's not adrenaline, it's not emotion. I mean, it's a tactical thing, generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I think of when someone disappears and goes into the wilderness for a couple of days. Like you can't say, oh, I'm just going to walk out there and then everything's fine. I mean, you got to have some thought process, right?
Skill and planning, I'm guessing, or do you just
bit.
Wing it and say, hey, we're going to try this place?
I'd say we wing it more often than not.
Really?
Yeah.
But
you find that that's part of the challenge, that you kind of get up there. Like, I don't know if you've ever read those SAS books. Like the survival
conceptually,
books.
But I've never read.
You know what I mean? You flip through them and stuff like that, but it would be like,
it was Bear Grylls stuff, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, but it's practical information that you think that everyone should learn, but sometimes you wouldn't do it unless you forced yourself into that type of situation, and then you're like,
I guess
book says it can be done. Let's go.
Yeah, like how did you figure this
do any of that stuff?
Trial and error. Like we honestly, there's the Fisher's Map of Saskatchewan. Let's try that one, and then drive there and figure out what happens. We'll bring a tent and a sleeping bag, and if there's nowhere to sleep, then we'll go find somewhere else. But a lot of times it's like we'll go away for a weekend, 3 or 4 days, and just tour lakes and find spots to sleep and figure it out. That's the challenge. That's the fun in that.
I was shocked to find that there's other guys like me that can't turn it off. I'm kind of shocked to hear you talk about a partner that wants to do this with you.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But you had said to me,
find.
But you also said early on, Jess wasn't 100% where.
I think we were both kind of unsure, and then we were fishing in Boundary Dam near Estevan, and we're hungry and nowhere near anything. So we were like, okay, we'll catch a fish. We built a fire. We cooked the fish on the spit, and it was kind of like the first time wasn't perfect, and there was ashes on it, and we're not going to eat that as a group. And then it kind of built from there. And
how long ago was that?
It's 4 or 5 years ago now. And I think we're both kind of on the same page, but I tend to think less about what I'm doing a lot of times going forward, and just it'll figure itself out.
Are you a summer camper, or do you winter camp as well?
With both. Yeah.
How much different is that?
Winter camping's a lot more difficult.
It is?
Yeah. Well, I find at least. I mean,
you actually probably have to prepare a little bit more.
We've got to prepare a little bit more, and we sleeping on the ice is not it's kind of a scary experience. Like we've left once in the
I think
middle
for
of the night.
Mike and I, it's just generally not preferred.
Yeah, we did leave once in the middle of the night because it got pretty loud with the cracks and stuff. And
wait.
we slept on the shore a couple times and in a tent, but I find summer a lot easier. It's 2-person tent, and a few times last year we just left after a rugby game at 9 o'clock, showed up at 1 o'clock in the morning, set up the tent, woke up, we're at the lake, we go.
Yeah.
Any crazy animal encounters?
A couple. The same lake that I saw John that I was going to, Jess saw lynx fishing on the side of the lake. And then we encountered that probably same one about a year later. We were sleeping and it got dead silent, and that's never a good thing. And it stayed silent for about half an hour, and then we saw heard something running, and it ran into the bottom of the tent where my feet were. It hit my feet and then ran away. And so in the morning we saw the paw prints and scat and stuff, and decided, hey, maybe we should probably put up bells or something next time. It's very much like, okay, well, that wasn't the best idea, so maybe we should try this next time.
I mean, like the bears and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's kind of a real thing when you get outside the parks. I mean, those brown bears that are mucking around, they're domesticated for the most part in these parks now, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen any bear. We saw a wolf. We've seen a lot of wildlife from a distance, and lucky that way. But we, was it 3 or 4 years ago? We decided to do, on a whim, a mountain fish hike. We were out in Calgary for a wedding. We had a day off after. We just searched the trail, and it was an easy one. So we showed up and started walking, and we each have a backpack. Jess is in rubber boots. I'm in runners or something. I've got 2 fishing rods. We each have a bottle of water and fishing equipment. We start going. We keep walking and walking and walking and walking, and it's trail's gone. Oh, there's the trail. We keep walking. We walk into this clearing, and it's oh, this isn't where we're supposed to be. And then we kept kind of walking up the mountain a little bit more and looked around and was okay, this is not right. It's time to start walking back. So we found a creek and started walking down the middle of the creek to get home. And it was one of those situations where you walk around the corner and you're toast if you take the wrong step. And it was an 8-hour experience. The whole time. The whole thing was about 8 hours, and there wasn't a single point in that entire time where we argued or there was not a point where we were sure that we were getting out. And it was just yeah, we'll be fine. We'll figure this out. We got down to the bottom of the mountain, got in my car, drove to a lake, and went fishing. And then 3 weeks later, we went back and did the actual hike. It was just we made it off. We won't do that again. I guess we'll make sure we know where we're going next time. And
yeah, I mean, the whole thing's so foreign to me, in terms of wandering around like that. But I think the part, bring it back a bit to Troy here, way, is because obviously I know you outside the podcast as a rugby player, coach, all this Bear Grill stuff. But that mindset that you have, where we'll figure it out, right? Meaning not just figure it out with anxiety, but figure it out through that there's a possibility that we'll solve it by working on it, right? Yeah. So where I'm going with this is, Troy, in the last number of years here, Brennan has restarted the U of S rugby team.
Okay.
And so he's their coach, and he was a coach for my old club, the Wild Oats, as well. So I think it'd be cool to you to explain, because you've used this terminology with me a few times when we talk about coaching. Yeah. This applies also to how you think of athletic sports in general, how you think of teaching people, right? And interested to hear the comparisons and how you, because obviously Troy is a huge teacher of people too. So but that's a big underpinning, I think, of how you approach coaching, playing, doing these things. Is don't put too much stress on trying to map everything out, right?
There's 4 things in rugby. It's you can catch the ball, pass the ball, tackle, and ruck. those are like the 4 things that we put a lot of focus on. They're the technical skills of the game that you can't win without doing.
Yeah.
Right? And
The basics.
the basics. And rather than focus on all of these big concepts, if you focus on these smaller things, you can pretty much work anything out in a game. Right? Like,
So just always kind of keep that KISS method or simplify it and make it.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
everything that we do in the sport of rugby comes down to kind of those 4 skills. You win the ball in rucks.
Yeah.
You stop them from scoring by tackling, and passing and catching is how you score, more or less, right? Like, there's more to it, but you do those 4 things well, you do it better than the other team, generally you're probably coming out successful. And then,
And I would say that's pretty similar. Like, I mean, I think the build-up, say if you hypothetically took a guy who was training for a fight or a guy who's going to do a jiu-jitsu tournament, the build-up, there's a lot more attention to details, and you're going through all these little what-ifs, and if the guy does this, and, you know, you do a lot more of that tactical kind of stuff in the build-up. But then when it comes down to the fight, and the night of the fight, the conversations that you have are very simplistic, and it's very, we're going to do, like, half the time, if I have an athlete and I'm doing something with it, and sometimes I see things, how things are going to roll just because of myself, of how I work and how I've caught that person. A lot of times, to be quite honest, I'll kind of catch a glimpse of what the other team is working on, and I'll see them, and I'm like, okay, and then I'll be like, okay, this is what I want, this is what we're gonna do, da 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 da, and sure enough, you do it a little bit in the warm up, and that all of a sudden it unfolds right before you in the fight. Like, it's like they're like, oh, we did that right before, and you'll hear that lots of times, and they're like, I was just working that with my coach just like right before the fight, and you know what I mean. And it's just that simple thing. So it wasn't all that other work that you did. It was suddenly just the realization that we have those simple things that we've got to cover. This is coming your way. Let's just kind of touch on it so you're not caught off guard.
A lot of it's muscle memory too, right? Like you want that core training to take over, so they don't have to.
Well, you would have that as well if you think about if you're hitting a trail or something like that on a bike, like how much muscle memory comes into play. Yeah. It's not like you're looking at it and navigating it as sometimes things could be happening, especially if you're going downhill. I would assume that things are happening a little faster. Yeah. That a lot of it is just your body's done this how many times. Yeah. It kind of knows.
Well, I relate it too to hockey. Like, I coached hockey for a decade and a half, and similar to you, it's all about the basics. I started every practice with edge work and skating, because if you can't get around the barn on your skates, it's a pretty unenjoyable game to play. Same thing when you're on the rugby pitch. If you can't pass, catch, tackle, and rucks may be a little bit more technical, but it's not an enjoyable game to play. And you started the conversation tonight talking about your song, and that song you'd played before every game for the last 15 years. And that triggers in me that you'll have structure to what you do. Has that just been a rugby thing, or has it been a little bit with your outdoor lifestyle too? Because it sounds like you're a little bit more like, oh, fuck it, I'll just wing it a little bit. But I'm guessing you've got that core, like the core basics down.
Yeah, like
survival stuff.
I'm not putting myself or ourselves in situations that we can't handle. Like, you're bringing the supplies that you need, but you're going into a place that you don't really know. So, like there's a good idea of what I'm taking or what we're taking with us to make sure that we're not gonna.
And you probably find over time you've learned to minimize what needs to really be taken. I talked about how I got into trouble last time. Now I'll stick my foot in my mouth again. But it's like when I go camping.
Do we have to? The rest of us have to apologize for Troy at home already.
So, like a lot of times we'll go, and definitely my wife she'd rather be over prepared, and she likes to just load everything up.
Organized.
And,
It's called organized.
But for me, I'm just like, we don't need that much. We don't, because we tend to, then you get there and you end up with a lot of leftovers, or you end up, you know what I mean? So I think now we're finally, but this is also a learning, I think, process for us as a couple, I think, figuring it out, like what her mindset is and what my mindset is. And now we're finally starting to get down the path where it's kind of like, now we're more on the same page. Because it's like, okay, worst case scenario, we can always go here, or grab this on the way, or whatever. Or you can go back into, I mean, granted, that's my idea of roughing it too. Like, I don't mind being in a trailer. And this summer we went and we camped at like Alouette Lake in BC, which was great. But you're surrounded by a whole bunch of other campsites. Right. Like, I mean, I could stagger into anybody else's campsite and find something perfectly good to eat if I had to. I don't need to make sure that I have enough stuff. But sometimes there's that too much. Whereas I think what you're doing, you probably have minimized things to the point where it's like, because I don't want to carry all that stuff, which is
somewhat
more weighing on you than anything, especially if you're hiking in. It's one thing if you're just driving and starting right there, but if I had to hike in somewhere, I want to have bare minimal stuff with me.
That's definitely taken some time. Yeah, work.
Yeah, I bet.
I think the first mountain hike that we actually did up a mountain with packs, I want to say my pack was about 60 pounds. I think we brought a case of non-alcoholic beer with us in the backpack and got it to the top and was like, hey, no, we don't need to do that one again. But yeah, no, but you definitely pared it down a lot. And it's like,
did you rationalize it? Well, it will be easier bringing it back because we will drink it all before we go back down.
Yeah, right. But you figure out like water filters and like things to make things lighter and easier, but you still,
Wow.
I'm probably less regimented in the rest of my life and more on the sports side of things.
Rewind a little bit to like your teenager, young adult. What sports were you doing? How did you figure out you were a bit of a freak back then?
I probably didn't know. I just thought that's what everyone did. I played hockey, football, rugby through high school. I started hockey probably when I was about 3, and then rugby when I was 10. And then football in high school, which is probably backwards to a lot of people. But I think it was probably...
How much did you find, before you go on there, how much did you find that rugby helped you to be a better football player? Because my boys just graduated from Holy Cross. There's a couple rugby kids on the team, and they were by far the best tacklers.
Oh, tacklers.
I got to play a whole heck of a lot more. I played a lot more once I changed positions in football to defensive. I played defensive tackle in high school, but because I played rugby and was able to tackle, and I just speed and was able to do that. But it helped me a lot. It helped. But I played those throughout high school. Hockey was kind of like I wanted to go and play pro. Every kid's dream. And then I kind of switched when I turned 18, 19 over to rugby. I got to go to the Canada Games in London, Ontario. And then that winter, a buddy of mine and I just went to the States. His aunt was living down there, and we went and played a season of club rugby down there, and then came back, and it was like I was locked after that.
Where did you play?
In Scottsdale.
Oh yeah.
Just a club team. We showed up. We showed up on a Saturday morning and was like, "Hey, we'd like to play." Okay, kind of the way it was, right?
Yeah.
They could just show up and play, and then after the game, they were kind of like, "Do you guys need a place to live?" It's like that around the world, but it was on. You guys need a place to live? We'd love to have you for the whole season. Well, actually, we're living here. Great. Here's practice. Here's where to go. And I mean, it's one of those sports where you can find what do they say?
That's awesome.
30,
The
30 friends in a home
The
wherever
community
you go.
around that game is fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you think it's kind of because it's more of a fringe sport?
Maybe.
It's not really like most people.
But
When you
there's-
bring it up, they know it, but they don't really like. How many people, like we were talking about
Yeah.
the women's game this weekend?
Yeah.
So there was probably, I would say 60% of the people watching it probably never
Had
watched a
no
rugby
idea.
game before in their
Yeah.
life. You know what I mean? But they were just it's like, oh, Team Canada,
Yeah.
the women's girls they're supposed to be really good, so I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're
Check
talking
this
about
out.
it all of a sudden. So suddenly everybody's taking it in, whereas like
But I've,
literally, I never really.
we've all
even-
played so many different sports, and you play a match of rugby, you beat the shit out of each other for 80 minutes, and then you peel off your jerseys, drink some beers together, and like that aspect of the game is something else. Like anything that was on the field is forgotten for the most part.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of speaks to the whole community aspect
Yeah.
of it, right? Where we had tons of guys that toured through here, South Africa, Australia, whatever, and you'd help them find a job, you'd help them find a place to stay, and it's just the
Yeah.
culture of that.
It's really community based.
Yeah.
But like I think it kind of goes to your point of like the physical nature, and I think, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I suspect it's a little bit like that with the martial arts world too, right? Like these are two sports that demand a lot of you to even try, but put yourself out there physically, mentally, and like you're fully engaging to the point of harm on both sides. So there's even though if I don't like you as a person, blah blah blah, you've taken a piece of my soul and I've taken a piece of yours. So there's a level of respect, and I suspect it's a little like that in the martial arts world, right? Like people don't like each other, lots of cases, but there's some respect if you share. And so you hear these stories of these guys traveling around the world, and they go down to the dojo in Brazil, they go over to Thailand. Like you've done this, and when you were describing this vagabond go down to Arizona,
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard Troy's background, but he was the iconic guy doing that in martial arts world from here.
Yeah.
Just traveling around, go down and see Henzo. Like it was just bizarre.
Yeah.
So is it a little bit like that with the martial arts too?
I think, in most cases, I think that's most people if they can kind of spread their wings a little bit and go and almost anywhere you go, you generally can go and pop in and say, hey, I'd like to do a drop in. I'm visiting from somewhere else. Like that's generally a lot more welcome than I would say when you have people that are in the same town as you and they're from a different club and they pop over and they're like, oh, hey, I just kind of want to come and roll.
Well, that's rugby too. I mean, we're not cross-pollinating with the Krems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
So-
not a time.
Until after, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
it's a little bit different, or not different that way. But I think in most cases, I think you could poke your nose into most places, and whether you're a novice or even a seasoned person, they're usually pretty welcoming, right?
Mhm.
They're usually pretty welcoming in that culture. Now, granted, there will be those times you go to gyms and you'll feel like, man, I gotta keep my
guard up.
my guard up all the time because like I'm gonna get chin checked. Like I think I mentioned that when I trained in Holland at one of the gyms, like Mike's gym, which is a very competitive, like lots of pro fighters, lots of high level guys, and it's just like survival of the fittest. Like that's how they develop their fighters.
Yeah.
And so when you got there, it was just like, oh boy, like
Strap on the
you better be
crash
ready.
helmet,
You better
yeah.
be ready to roll like every round and like pay attention. But it was kind of scary. But after you kind of was like, oh, that was kind of you kind of had that edge of like the adrenaline rush of almost like we're scrapping pretty hard. You know what I mean? And you get that rush, and then it'd be the same thing. Like I mean, you were mentioning the other day that you guys are still going and doing like kind of, I guess they would be rugby games,
Well,
considerably, or Like, I mean, at a fairly higher level.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys that...
But you're keeping your foot in the door and going and doing these games because that rush that you got when you were playing, it doesn't turn off.
Yeah.
And you still get that. Now, granted, does it get turned up to the level when you were playing competitively?
Yeah.
Maybe the odd night when you have somebody who's being an asshole on the other team, it ramps up right away. But I think that overall, I think that's just your way of kind of keeping that door open, right? Like, I would assume that. Because do you still do some of the games? Like,
yeah, I mean, this
was the first summer I hadn't played since I started.
Oh, okay.
Like, so that's a career of how many years?
I'm 41.
He's 41.
I'm 42, so I've been played 41 years. Or 31 years.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that, and so for those who don't know, I mean, in the bio, like you said, you started 10?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you know, which is young for us here on the prairies, because this isn't a rugby place.
No.
But then you quickly got to high level nationally, early 20s.
Like I played Prairie Fire and Prairie Fire and Wolfpack and those things. Yeah.
And then there was this period where you were part of, like, when Saskatchewan of all provinces won the national level.
Yeah, 2007.
Like like they won the nationals through this team that Brennan was on. And then but I find part of the whole Guard Athletics, vision of a lifetime of athletic pursuit is I step away from rugby for, I don't know, a decade or two until Walter goes back, and I go out and watch a game where Brennan's still playing. I'm like, holy shit, who is that guy? And it's Brennan. So, like, and so, I mean, you the question you always ask is, like, when
did you figure out you couldn't turn it off?
Yeah, like
since you were born.
I don't know. Like, it's
just in you.
Yeah, it's just in them.
I thought that's what everyone else did.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't miss practice if you want to play in the game.
But didn't you kind of figure out, if you've had that much longevity on the field, that you were the only guy left from your team that was still playing?
See,
well, like that, but
you know what I mean? Like,
well, that's the thing.
Because that's probably when you would have had to figure out, like, geez, where's everybody else?
There's a group of about 6 of us still playing.
Okay.
So all kind of within a year or two. So we've played since high school together. There's a
core group. There's a core group of you guys, and it's impressive. These guys are also part of the kind of old guard athletic community because they're all kind of wired that way. But I'd say you're at the top of it.
I've probably done the longest.
But the longest and also at the highest kind of consistent level.
But, like, exactly. It was like, okay, the kids that I'm coaching and played against are now quitting and retiring, and new people are like I figured out, like, no, it's not normal.
You've seen a couple of generations come through.
I was thinking about it before coming on here, and it was like I played in 3 different decades.
Well, no, because that's very common.
That's crazy, right?
And it was like,
because it'd be the same. Like, when we'd have a group of kids that come through, and when they usually get to kind of that mid-range, when they get to their kind of like their green belt, you're kind of green, then you got, blue, red, brown, black. So you're kind of getting close to the halfway mark. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I'll say, now look around the room, because there's only going to be a few of you that will ever wear a black belt, because the rest are either going to get distracted with this, find success in some other sport, find a girlfriend, find a boyfriend, whatever, and they're going to drop off. And then you watch that group, and then it's like, okay, and it goes through that cycle. And there is sometimes where you have that tighter core of maybe there is not just 1 or 2, but there's like that group of 4 or 5 or 6, and that would be like, say,
is that
typically?
Because I'm thinking about hockey, and it's the peewee age that I coached, where all of a sudden kids are finding out that there's girls out there.
So what age group is that?
Like 12, 13.
Okay. So I would say for us it would be like kind of 14, 15. Once they start being able to drive too, that's when there's usually the biggest hit.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's the ones, and sometimes it's the ones that, like I said, it's the ones that keep on going that end up rising. And we were talking a little bit earlier about Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Griffin wasn't the rock star on the map. But
longevity and perseverance.
He just kept showing up. He just kept showing up, kept showing up, kept showing up. Enjoyed it. You know, that became his thing. And that's how it is for a lot of people, I think. At least for my aspect when I view it, that like it's always those guys that it's not always the guy that was the most athletic because it came to him too easy. Mm-hmm. The guys that it came too easy, they get bored with it and they don't excel. I mean, that was what for me, myself, like I was a klutz. I didn't feel like, I always felt like I had to struggle to get anywhere. So then I think, I don't know, maybe I appreciated it more. And I think maybe those people do too. And maybe like now when you look back, you probably appreciate the longevity of how long you've been able to stay in.
Certainly not the most athletically gifted kid, right?
And
like it was just
injuries wise and everything else. Like it's.
I think it's funny you mentioned Griffin. Griffin, just to plug Griffin. Griffin's last name?
Madhouse.
Okay. So, and Griffin is how old?
Oh, it's 26 now.
Okay.
26. Yeah.
So I met him now a few times. He reminds me a little bit of Brennan, like as an old soul at 26, right? Like in the sense that you talk to him, and we were, just before the podcast, we were discussing. He's kind of like you, right? Like he doesn't even tell his head coach he's going to go out to a big tournament in Vernon. Drives like Vernon's not next door. No. For those who don't know, Vernon is a solid 12-hour drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to drive 1,200 kilometers to go and compete in jiu-jitsu tournament, which is at a high level, right? Yeah. So most people, that's a lot of anxiety just generally, if it was in your town, let alone to drive 12 by yourself, whatever. And he just kind of meanders out there, and he just runs the table, and then he calls you to say, I did it, or...
Oh, he usually messages me. Yeah.
Just like, but it's kind of like you, it's the same. Like, I've kind of pieced together, that's how you've approached your athletic journey as well. It's just... to you, it's normal. Like why wouldn't you? It's possible.
What's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Right? Like, what an amazing way to live, though. Like, it's a great way of possibility always, right?
Yeah.
But I think it takes a different type of individual to do that, because there's a lot of people before they go into a competition, or I'm sure even people that play rugby, or even people that go into a biking competition, they go through a lot of different anxieties on performance. Like, am I going to do well? Or they put so much pressure on themselves that then did I prepare enough, or did I over prepare, or whatever? And it seems like you have kind of that mentality of, you know what, I'm here.
Yeah, I
figure it out.
We'll
just go.
This summer in BC, and you're right, Troy. Before I went out there, I was worried about my fitness. I was worried about the technical nature of some of these courses I was going to be riding. And you get to a point where you're like, fuck it. I'm signed up. I'm going to do this, and we're going to finish.
Yeah.
And if you maybe have to go a little slower or not climb as hard because your heart rate's 180, you do that. But you manage through it. You know your own limits, and just grind it out.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's those that can't see. You're nursing whatever boxers. What is it?
Yeah, boxer break.
Boxer break. Yeah. Without boxing.
Yeah, well, I boxed a tree.
Boxed a tree. So the
tree one.
Yeah. But for those that can't see it, Mike doinked the tree a week ago?
2 weeks now.
2 weeks ago.
And I'm already planning a race potentially November 1st.
Yeah, so. And we found out today you've already been, what were you, front squatting, what was it, 225 or something? Yeah. Okay, so, today. I mean, I think we all have it in this community, is where you just have a thought process of what's possible, and your experience allows you to try to work it out. And I think that's where you say that uniqueness versus statistically the majority of people, for whatever reason, they're just not there, and we seem to tend to want to embrace that, and we, I think when you're walking down the street, it feels a bit weird because everyone is not thinking like that, right? Like the average person isn't wanting to disappear in the wilderness just to hang out and try it and see and figure it out.
I've heard crazy a lot.
Yeah, I know.
It sounds like everyone on this table has heard that a few times. Oh, you're crazy. It's like, not really. It's sleeping in a different spot.
When I did this, people are like, you realize you've got a family, you need to slow down, and this and that. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
Have you met me?
That's what
I can't do that.
I like I said, I don't think I ever would have thought that going and sitting, like when I started archery hunting and I decided, I'm going to go sit in a tree stand. I never thought that I would. I was like, okay, I realize this is a thing I got to do to get that animal harvested, kind of. But after, like, I think we talked a little bit, like, I went to that first wild boar hunt and kind of on that, at the game farm, and sitting in that tree stand, I didn't get nothing that day, but it allowed me to disconnect from everything else so much that after that weekend, like, I was just like, I think I'd just go crawl up a tree and just hang out, like, just like I just found like it was just like a super way for me to just disconnect from stress and everything else, and you're just so chill. Like, I mean, and then you see those things that are cool. Like you have like little birds landing on your bow, and you got animals walking underneath you that that you normally, like, how often would you be like 5 foot from a fox and then him actually make eye contact with you, not freak out because you're not freaking out, and just go on his way. You know what I mean? So I kind of found that I had that first experience, and that what it was like. And then after that, I was like I didn't even get a chance to draw on anything. You know what I mean? They were always kind of out of my range, and then after that, I was hooked. So I'm assuming that that's probably the same thing for you. When you get out there, you're just disconnecting, and it just gives you a way to recharge. And then that's what I found, like, when I would go back out, and I would be like, granted, I'm not backpacking, sleeping in a tent, and then going and doing a hunt. Like, you're going out for the day, but I would go out and I'd be getting out, like I'd go out and stay at, say, Jay's farm there, but I'm up at like 5, I'm in the tree stand by 6 because I want to be there well before shooting hours, and I'm crawling up in the pitch dark, and like when you're walking out, like, you can't see nothing. It's just the stars and everything are really cool, but then you like hear every noise. It's almost like a little bit of adrenaline rush kind of thinking, like, pretty close to the river here. It could be like a cougar or something. Yeah. Or maybe the neighbor's wife next. Like, you don't know who's coming out of the bush. And so you're like making your way to the tree stand, and like, and you're then, like, you maybe have a little light and you don't want to be making a bunch of distractions, I found. Like, so you get kind of crawling up, and I've fallen out of a tree stand, and like I've been up
awake.
Oh yeah, I was crawling up. It was like one of these 5 a.m. mornings out at Jay's, and I was using a tree, and he had these screw-in pegs, and they've been there forever. I made the mistake of relying on one of them as I'm going up the tree stand.
So it's Jay's fault.
No, I would say it's my fault that I shouldn't have trusted anything else anybody else did. I should rely on one. And I also wasn't wearing a safety harness.
Okay.
Like, I had my safety harness, but I didn't use it to go up. Like, a lot of times guys will tie off on the tree and then they'll go up, and that's common sense. That I didn't have at that time, because heck, I haven't used it yet. And I went, and I was probably maybe about, because my set was pretty high up over where Jay's was, and then I put mine above it. So as I'm moving up, this peg let go, and I fell. So I got caught on one of the hooks.
Holy shit.
It tore my pec.
Oh, yeah.
And it caught my backpack. Was the only thing that caught me. So I was dangling off the tree with this backpack. So I have to hug the tree. I still can't see nothing because my headlamp went flying. So I get off, I get down on the bottom, and I'm just like so pissed off. And then it was just, I was so mad, and I'm just literally seeing red. But then it's just like, oh man, I'm hot. Like, and I was just like, holy smokes. And I couldn't really see. But then I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna do? Like, I'm looking up at this thing, and I'm like, I don't want to take a chance going up this tree again. And I realized, okay, well, I've done another set, and it's on the other side of the farm. It will work for the wind. I'll just go to that one. So I just grabbed my stuff, temper tantrumed all the way to the other spot, crawled up this tree, got into my because I hunt from like a sling, like a saddle, not a regular chair. So you kind of free float in this little hammock thing off the side of the tree. So I got in there, and then I was just like, made it in there. It's just like, kind of like, okay. And then it just hit me. It was just like like the adrenaline dump had kicked, and I could just feel like my chest was just swelling. And I was just like, oh, I could show you pictures. It looked like I had a double D. There's so much blood dumped into it. And then so when I'm sitting there and I can hear, it's at that, by this time, it's like, okay, I can hear the deer coming in. I can hear them. They're walking in the snow. Because it's, I don't know, I think it was late October maybe already. Because I was archery hunting in rifle season. So. And so I'm like, okay. And I can hear them. So I'm just like, okay, well, can I draw my bow? So did it a couple times. Didn't feel great, but I could draw it. I was like, okay. So I sat there. And I sat from then. I didn't come back in. Other than when I did message Jay, I told him I fell out of the tree. But I stayed up there until 7 o'clock, until sundown. I did get a shot, like right before shooting hour was over. I did get a shot on a buck. And I came down, and like we had our cell cameras and stuff, and at that time I crawled out of the tree, and I was just like, I was just probably just emotionally exhausted because I heard this thing go snorting, and I thought, okay, he's just breathing, wheezing, he's gonna drop. Called Jay up, and he's like, just head back to the house, take a break, and then go back out, because like he was amazed that I stayed up in the tree all day. I was amazed I stayed up in there. I was probably just delirious. And then I came back out, and you think I could, no. And then I went and I looked back at the camera, and I could see the buck that I took the shot at, and I tuffed him across the back, and you could see where my arrow hit and he was at the other location where I fell out of the tree on that camera, literally after I shot him. So he was just pissed off because he didn't know what happened. But I thought he was having a hard time breathing. He was just doing a snort. His kind of ideas. He was moving away. So I was just like, it's like that night ended. Like I was just so pissed. Oh man. But learning experience. Always tied off after that. Every time I went up the tree. So lesson learned. But yeah, that was intense. But I still would. I don't know if I would go and do what you're doing and then go hunt and then, because there's no safety net for me there. Like you'd have to be pretty prepared and pretty, like, I mean, if I had done that and I was somewhere else, like I said, like my chest was just like torn. Like it just, like I said, it was like boom, like it almost like tore. And then
did you actually punctured right through the back?
It just tore it up. Like I had to go to physio and they were working on me for quite a while, like doing all the needling and stuff. But it was just black. Like after it was it just went black, and it was just like so frustrating. And then it's hard because then you got to go back and you want to teach, and then I'm the type of person that I have a hard time because I want to be able to demonstrate and do stuff, and then it's like the most frustrating thing is when I can't do it. Yeah. And then you got to ask other people, but that's frustrating too.
Like you described something that when you just had it with your hand in a way. I'm sure when you're crashing, like this could be. I don't know exactly how you crashed, but maybe it was like, oh, this could be pretty bad, right? Yeah. Like something else your head or whatever, right? If you encountered, like you talked a little bit about that 8-hour experience with Jess, right, where you were kind of like, yeah, it's a bit dicey.
Oh no, there's a couple times.
Yeah, I think if you had one by yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do tell. I don't want to hear me talk.
No. I mean, I don't tend to put myself in really bad positions when I'm
You
by
can say
myself.
that.
But
You don't intend to, but
like I got my arm stuck in a boulder because I like dropped my phone.
holy
down a
shit,
rock
that's
wall.
that movie 21. What is it? 21 hours? Or
Yeah,
what is it?
yeah.
You see
Something
that?
like
The true story?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I was able to, like-
Yeah.
Like my cell phone fell out of my pocket at Diefenbaker Lake into like the rock wall where the dam is, and like I reached down to get it, and my elbow got caught in between two rocks.
Oh my god!
And it was it was the moment where like there's other people there, but it's that realization like, oh, this might not come out. Like, I was reaching a little too far. I was like, I think I got it. It's caught. I'm in big trouble. But
That's the joint.
yeah, able to figure my way out of that one. But like that 8-hour one, there was a point where it was like 2 rock wall. I'll show you some. We have 7 pictures of this whole experience. All of the pictures they got taken, deleted. We don't know how. They just gone. But yeah. So there's this point, and it's like 2 high walls on either side of this creek, and the water's moving pretty quick.
Oh boy.
I was like, okay, well, we'll go up the side. I think we can get up and over top. And so we both climbed up, and I kind of shimmied across, and I swung my leg over and looked, and I was like, nope, can't go this way. We're going to have to go through. And I swung my leg back around, and like the rocks fell out from underneath my foot. And like I grabbed whatever was in front of me, and like 2 fishing rods in the other hand still. Because we're going fishing. Like, we're not losing fishing rods. Throw the rods up on this bank and climb up and come across and
Here, I
just
thought he was bouldering for a second.
Yeah, right,
now,
right.
now he's got fishing rods.
Yeah.
it wasn't the smartest thing I've ever
Yeah.
done. And I get back and Jess goes like, yeah, don't do that one again. Like that one was, I thought I was filming you fall. Like, don't do that one again.
Oh boy.
It was like, okay, how about we just stay? We'll be a little safer. But yeah, no, like there's times on that hike that it was like, this might not be good if we go around this corner wrong.
Yeah.
But we both had each other's backs the whole time, and it was pretty positive. And like where we saw you at the gas station at one time,
Yeah.
we had to check in with the RCMP the next time we were there. There was a storm, and we didn't have cell service for a period of a day. And when we got our cell service back, like we've had a lot of the situations where we're okay, but
There's
might
potential.
not be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, like, so have you found that then I guess you could say a lot of that potential danger sometimes might be, like, say, when you're camping
Mhm.
in winter conditions or even in regular conditions, if you got wet or whatever, when you're setting up and getting there, like hypothermia and stuff like that. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
No.
Or you've always been able to?
We've always, like, especially in winter, we make sure we're in a pretty smart situation.
Yeah. Well,
So-
that's
yeah.
what it's
Yeah.
just, I always wondered, because it seems like that's the thing where you can very easily, for someone like myself, would probably underprepare. And then in that kind of circumstance, because you do have a little bit of that, well,
Well, yeah, I guess
You
that's
know?
not totally true. Like, I went ice fishing by myself and was driving down a back road, and I lodged my car. Like, I didn't see the snowdrift on the gravel road, and I just launched my car into it. And, like, I didn't have a shovel.
Oh
So I
shit!
forgot it at home. So I was
What
digging-
time of the year is this?
It's like, I don't know, January.
Oh Jesus! So
one of the warmer months.
yeah.
Like, very cold.
No, yeah. So
Right.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, January could be minus easy
Yeah.
25, 30 Celsius.
And I'm up by like Emerald Lake. Like, I'm
Oh
trying to-
shit! No, that okay.
On the
That's
back road.
that is scary stuff
like,
there.
Like, people came eventually, but like, yeah, like at least I have a heater with me and that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I've been in
The
some,
first thing you do at that point is you look, how much gas do I have left?
how much gas do I have? Can I get my vehicle out of here?
Did you get it out or did you get pulled out?
I got it. I probably dug myself out 10 or 20 feet, and then people finally came a couple hours later down the road to go fishing the same spot I was going to.
Yeah, but you were just digging. You weren't. You didn't.
I dug and then moved myself back a bit, and then dug and moved myself back.
But see, you have to explain this because you're diminishing how dangerous this is.
Yeah.
Because you have no shovel.
No. Yeah.
right? And so you're using your arms and your
What I have, yes.
yeah, your clothes.
Yeah.
So it's whatever temperature.
Yeah.
So you're like this is where it goes wrong really badly
Yeah.
because you're getting increasingly cold, sweating.
Yes.
You have to explain this to people because I've had this experience and it is frightening as fuck when you're in the middle of nowhere and you're like, I have to keep doing this, but I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if I'm getting out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
Like
it is.
I was fairly sure eventually someone was coming by, but you don't.
You don't know.
Do you
and
carry a Garmin InTouch or anything like that?
Mm,
Just for safety's sake?
so now, yes.
No, yes.
I hadn't in the past.
what time of the day was that?
Oh, it's like 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So you had the day ahead of you.
I had the day ahead of me. Like I wasn't.
That's helpful.
I
If you
wasn't
were
coming
at
out
4
at
in the
night.
afternoon.
Yeah,
that would have
right.
been a
That's
Yeah.
that is.
whole different story.
So I planned my routes out a little bit differently, and I tend to not go to lakes I haven't been to in the winter by myself anymore. But yeah.
I wanted to circle back to
Yeah.
rugby for a bit, and you've played, 3 decades.
Yeah.
How did you manage? It's a very physical game, obviously. How did you manage injury and staying in shape? And like, what's your
Secret of
training,
longevity.
nutrition
It's definitely.
like?
Well, I played year round, like since probably 2005. To some aspect, I was on training or coaching or doing something the entire year. So that's where my fitness came from. The injuries, I don't know. I don't know how I've gotten through this many years.
But explain. I was telling these guys a little bit, but I'm amazed. Like you look to me, you look pretty, and we've talked about this
Yeah.
off podcast.
Yeah.
But you're in a pretty good spot now physically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But my point is explain what the question was. Like
Yeah.
dealing with injuries because you played a position relatively undersized.
Yes.
Often.
Yes.
What number?
12 usually. I played 10 or 12 for the most
So
part.
he's in the mix, eh?
Yeah.
And tackling, like he's laying heavy hits and he's getting hit, and
I
he's
like
not.
to play a physical.
Yeah.
Like to play a physical game.
And you have a natural disposition to have what is it? Loose what?
I've got Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility type 3. So it's
Okay, wait a minute. Whoa, slow that down.
Yeah.
It's called Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility type.
Hypermobility.
Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay.
This
So
is just
I've-
over
So you're too
over
flexible.
flexibility in the joint.
Yeah, for the most part. So it's a lack of collagen in the joints and it like hypermobile more or less.
Yeah.
So that's probably part of it.
Since birth, or
Since birth, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's probably part of it. Going into contact and stuff, bending and not breaking. I guess for the most part.
yeah, but the flip side is you're constantly battling dislocation.
Yes.
Like
Right. Like I've been lucky. It's mostly been my fingers, like a shoulder. I haven't had too else much like dislocation wise, but like I mean
you're lucky, man.
collarbones and like I mean there's you get banged up, but I've never really had something that's put me out for an extended period of time.
Wow.
It's just I've
I mean, it's impressive.
yeah I've been lucky. I like playing contact, but I also have a good ability to not get hit clean
Yeah.
for the most part.
Well, that could be
That-
part of
that's
how
a
you
skill.
have maintained your longevity,
Yeah.
and because I think like use my dad as an example. Like you were saying, like I mean, in his 80s, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was always that thing. You stop using. I remember for a while there, he was almost thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to step back and I'm going to take some time off," and that lasted for like I can't remember. He just said he felt like he fell apart
Yeah.
because he wasn't maintaining a certain level of activity that his body was used to all the time. And I think that's pretty much the same for most. Like if you think, oh yeah, well, I can take a couple weeks off and then start back at your activity and it's not so bad. But if you have an injury or something and you take an extended period off, or you maybe had a month or 2 off, like when I had my hip surgery or stuff like that, to get back into doing almost anything, it felt so foreign. And it's almost a bigger window to re-injure yourself or injure something else off in that window.
Yeah.
I
So
think,
your
like,
constant activity,
yeah,
was,
like
I was
never
gonna say,
stopping probably.
is
Helps.
almost your
Helps.
saving
And,
grace,
like,
right?
Yeah, and like the amount of contact I took as a young guy. Like, we were probably playing 2 to 3 games a week and training 4 to 5 nights a week, and that's just kind of like what
that blows my mind.
What
It's such a physical sport.
like it's just kind of like
Yeah.
the friend group I had. It's what we did.
Yeah.
Like we talk about it all the time. It's like, no, you train Monday with the Wild Oats, Tuesday with the Prairie Fire, Wednesday with the Wild Oats, Thursday with the Prairie Fire. Probably play Friday. Probably play Saturday. 1 or 2 games.
So good.
Yeah.
Like and yeah, you ruined your fitness after a lot of times, but but like that's, and it was just constant contact, so your body gets used to it. I'm guessing it's similar in martial arts and fighting. Like you get used to the constant.
You develop a natural callus, right? Right?
Yeah,
The more
to a certain degree,
the more you-
absolutely.
and mentally. But the other thing that's kind of neat is I know this through friendship, but
Yeah.
you're ambidextrous.
Somewhat, yeah, for them. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
right. So this is
Yeah.
kind of like he could have been I'm sure he could have been a good MMA fighter because he can kick.
Both feet.
Yeah, like full, like so, right? That
Yeah.
plus then what we were golfing, and you said you started the one, then you
I started right, and I switched.
You're like, fuck, this isn't working.
Like mid game or
Well, not
You
far
know,
off.
I was gonna figure it out.
Yeah, no, I know exactly. It wasn't far off that.
It was. I was golfing with some buddies, and I was playing really poorly, and one of the guys was left-handed. I was like, I can't be any worse. Let me try. And it was like, oh, maybe this is what's the part of the problem is.
it was swinging the wrong way.
Yeah. No, like kicking and passing and everything with my left foot just came from like. You kind of have to learn at a certain point. People get used to it. Then, oh, he's in a kick, and if you can kick off your left foot, it surprises people. And
Yeah.
you know, it's a tool. Like,
With your coaching
yeah.
that you've done, have you seen any of the people you're coaching come through that have shown signs of having a similar longevity?
Well, we've talked. Go ahead. You have an opinion about this because we've talked about it. About what.
Or are they just
Kids are soft.
I think it's a different game. I think it's a different group of people coming up. I don't know if there's going to be that same longevity. The game is a lot more about size and speed now, I kind of find, and it's less about time actually training the sport and more time doing other things to hopefully get better at the sport by doing other things. And there's definitely a time and place for the gym. There's definitely a time and place for everything. But it's like if you're putting all of your focus on one side of things, but you can't catch a pass, your career is going to be pretty short.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that experience, and it's skipping the small things to get to the big things. And that's
Everyone
So
wants
generally
quick
speaking,
hits.
the answer to my question is no. You haven't seen very many people
I haven't
have the longevity,
but it's
you're
few and
saying
far between.
Just
Yeah.
because
Probably
of the
seen
nature
some
of the
great
beast. now.
athletes though
Yeah.
come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like, it's a little bit, it's tough for me too because I've coached the kids that I'm now playing against. And like somebody that's going to play for 10 or 12 years, that might be a long career, but I've been here for.
Yeah. Well, you'd have the advantage because you know how to read the field and read what's happening in front of you
Yeah.
way before someone that has had half of that experience
Yeah.
would be able to.
Yeah.
You know, not unless they're an exceptional player that has that mentality. So you've kind of surpassed, because of your longevity, you've kind of put yourself into kind of like this master zone as far as, it's like the Matrix for you. As you watch things unfold, you can kind of say, okay, well, this is where this is where the energy is going to run. This is where they're lining up. This is how I need to.
It's 30. It's like literally because you start at 10. It's 30,000 hours.
I see that same thing in hockey where you'll have like a team of old guys like me, and then you'll play some 30-year-olds or 20-year-olds, and they've got skill and speed and all this stuff, but they don't have maybe the game understanding that you would, or some of us old guys,
or the
playing
tactic,
hockey.
or the tactical aspect
and you just
of it,
you let them skate around and buzz around everywhere, and then you eventually wear it out. You're a better passing team, whatever, and more often than not, you
What's the,
beat these young guys.
Old age and treachery overcomes youth and wisdom.
You
know what I mean? Yeah. But that's kind of, I would see that too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I look at, when I'm training athletes or when I'm working with guys and you're like, you can, like, they're like, wow, I have a hard time getting that timing, the distance to hit you or to get, it's just like, well, because I really don't like to get hit. And A, and B, because of that, I have this more of survival instinct that I will see the sweat off your brow, which tells me that you're going to pull the trigger and now's the time to move. And this is, you know what I mean? But that's the same thing that you're probably experiencing when you're playing the game or even yourself. Like, you guys have done something or like on the bike trail. Once again, it's like having that experience of having that muscle memory and just the ability to kind of see 3 or 4 moves ahead.
You kind of don't even know what you're seeing at some points. You
don't. But
it's hard to
say that
it's hard to pick out and say like, oh, this is why I chose this. It's like, I don't really know.
So let's get into something that we talked around. So we all kind of blew this up. Is often these people that are the greatest at one of these activities are generally the worst coaches. Worst instructors, for exactly what you said. They Gretzky, Jordan, all these, Tiger Woods. Okay, unbelievable at the skill because they see everything and they can't fathom that talking to me I can't see it like that. That's so they can't. They literally cannot verbalize this magic. That okay, so. And you know, you and I have talked about the challenges of coaching this young guard generation coming up because they have a lot to offer, right? And you know, some of them are in a pretty good mindset to try to learn from you too. But how? Because you're going through it. You talked about with hockey, right? Same thing, or you pick your rugby or whatever. But like, how are you tackling that? Where you've got this magic, this group here is approaching it differently, like ideologically. And yet, I mean, you can't not coach them. I mean, you want to coach, you want to help them, but you can't be doing Bobby Knight, throwing chairs at them. So, and I know you don't. So, and last part I'll say is, for those who aren't aware of his coaching, Brennan is actually quite well thought of as a coach. Okay, so he's not the Jordan either. Like he's actually kind of like you, Troy. He's respected in terms of his ability to communicate out some of this magic. But it can't be easy. Like for me, I can't do it. I'm not that kind of person. So
there's a lot of internal, what you were saying, like, how do you not see this sometimes? But it's honestly trying to break it down. And with the new, not the new generation, but the kids coming up right now, it's more of an explanation needed. For me, it was like running your head into that wall 50 times, that'll make you better. All right, let's go do that. It's wrong. Like, if it's going to make me better, it'll make me better. Like, now there's like, we'll go do that. Well, why? I don't know. They told me to do it. But it's getting more in depth into an explanation on why we're doing what we're doing.
That's a big part of it, right?
For me, I think it's a big part of.
Interesting.
No, it's like, this is why we're doing it. This is why we're explaining it this way. This is what I'm hoping that you're going to see out of this.
This is change management in business. Same principle.
It's like
that's why this is exactly.
Yeah, we run this line. The reason we do that is we have these 2 defenders here. If you run here, potentially they're looking this way. They're going to look this way, and there's space there. If he doesn't do it, there's space there. If he doesn't do it, there's space there. Depends on what their hips do.
But what you just did, is and Mike's onto it. You probably take it from here, but I guess I'm the oldest here, 55. So someone like me who's been brought up on the group that you just described, which is do this and it'll make you better. That's it. I just absorbed that.
Yeah.
And you go.
Yeah, in some ways I sought out people who told me less on what to do, and they were so aggressive because I figured they're successful. Then don't tell me more. I'll just do it, right? So then I get really frustrated when I feel like I'm being asked to explain why.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so like I'm really bad for this. So if you push me on it, I'm like, okay, I'm really trying to contain myself. And let's say I concede that I have to explain why, but I don't do a good job, right? Because I'm not engaged. I'm not truly up for the explanation because I feel pissed that I have to do it. You just sat there, and I've seen you do it. I don't know how, and you do it too, and you're better than me, I'm sure, but you're probably a little bit closer to me. But I've seen you do it with these young men, and this is the way. Like, this is the way the generation is coming up. They deserve the explanation. And they don't deserve to have someone who's got their own issues about being frustrated. But that doesn't make it easy. And somehow I've watched you do it. And so have you had that as a personal trait, or have you kind of had to work to develop that skill? Or?
I had good coaches growing up, but like I'm trying to be the guy that I wanted sometimes too. Like, give me the time of day. Right. If I got a question, like if they're asking me a question or they're questioning something, there's a reason for it. Like there's a reason for it, and like for sure, for a long time it was just like, could you just do what I'm asking? Please,
here's the drill. I don't
can you like, I promise you, if you just do what I'm saying, it'll work out.
It'll be great.
And like, it's very recent that it's kind of changing into like, okay, here's why, because I had one of the kids I coached say like, I used to just run into the line and just smash the first person, but I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to do that. I was like, good point. Never brought that up. Probably should have. And that kind of changed a little bit of the perspective on like, he was a really good player. Like, and it never occurred to me like, he's doing this, why? Yeah. Well, he's doing it because he thinks he's supposed to. Yeah. So maybe if we break this down a little bit more, because the amount of time I had playing high-level rugby with really good coaches and the amount of opportunity I have is not the same as it is anymore. Like, I was thinking about it. I think I played 80 games over 2 years at one point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like in between BC and Saskatchewan. Like, you're not getting that many games.
It's one every 4 days. That's crazy.
No, that's too many. 80 days over 2 years. So like 40 a year.
Still,
yeah, like I think
one every 6 days or whatever.
It was like
one a week.
Yeah, just over. Yeah, and like there's
not only are you playing, but you're watching a lot of rugby, so your game IQ just elevates because you're taking all that in. You're seeing what other great players are doing out there, or coaches. And
pretty much all I did.
But I like what you said there, because I think that's how I am. That when you said, I want to be the coach that I would want. Like, to me, that's exactly what I try. Like, I want a coach that's going to be interactive with me, that is going to figure out the best way to connect with me.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
because it's not always
coaches right now too, Troy. Like, there's no freaks behind the bench for the most part anymore. Like Tortorella's maybe the last one, and now they're Paul Maurice's that are holding guys accountable, but they're digging into the whys, and here's the reason behind the X and O's that we're putting on the whiteboard before practice type of thing.
The coaches that were yelling and screaming, like, they lost me immediately. It's like, I'm not trying to screw up. Like, I didn't try and let that goal in. I didn't try and drop that pass. Like, lay off me a little bit here, right? And rather than that, like, I heard something. It was from Dan Hooley. He was at, I think, the Oregon Ducks football camp. And he said, like, the coaches there said, if you say catch the ball, you can just leave. Like, you've got to give a descriptor, like, hey, get your hands up, turn your shoulders, like, give them something. And like, you take that back with this, and it's just so like in a passing drill, it's just like, guys, all you need to do, that, like, hands up, go catch the ball. Right? If you point to your target, the ball's going to go where you want it to go. Like, it's... Yeah. The ball can hit the deck 50 times, and if you say catch the ball, that's not going to achieve anything. It's just going to make them...
If that helps them understand what the intent is, and they're able to execute against it, then great.
Yeah.
But I think that's where you find that you get those gems where you do have that coach that has that connect. Because I mentioned that too before. When I was growing up, I had a lot of great coaches. Like, my dad was a great coach. But I didn't get coached just strictly by my dad.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have like when I watch him teach, like he's teaching your daughter right now, right?
Yeah.
You poke your nose in the class and watch.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, I look at that and I'm going, where was that when I was coming up? Freaking, that wasn't the case. Like, he has evolved so much over the years.
Yeah, really.
Himself. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Because it was not that, like, I would always say he was an excellent teacher and a good coach, but his part of it was he came from a very hardcore military style of training, which was more like, there's the wall, put your head through it. Yeah. And you would just do that over and over. Well, see, now you found the way.
Yeah.
Which, what way?
My head's to the wall.
My head's sore.
Yeah.
But he learned through teaching and stuff like that. Like, that wasn't the norm. Most people weren't. Like, I always get a kick out of he said, like, his first thing he signed up, he went and did a demo and he signed up like 150 students, and by the end of the first month that everybody signed up, he had like 15 students left. And then he said, I think I gotta change something about how I'm running my programs, because it was just too hardcore. Like, you can't expect people to do what you were doing because you were at a certain mentality.
So he adjusted.
Oh, he had to. Otherwise, we would never.
But any of it related to feedback from you? Do you think?
No. I think
he would listen to you probably.
No, I wasn't even around. I wasn't even a part of the process
class,
yet.
yeah.
Like, I mean, you got to think he opened the school in like 65 technically, and
you weren't.
It didn't really kick in till 67 is when he says that he officially opened his doors, but he was teaching, and then it was like he said, he'd do these things and it was just like, you'd sign everybody up, and then they realized, oh, this isn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, and then they fall off. It's kind of like jiu-jitsu. Like, a lot of people, they think, oh, jiu-jitsu is easy, and I went and talked to the instructor. He said it's easy. They're lying to you.
They're lying to you to get you into the class.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, it is an easy sport, but it very much depends on the mentality of the individual that is going to be doing it. Like, if you are a balls to the wall kind of guy, then you get in there, you're not going to turn that off, even though I tell you to. You're going to hurt yourself, and then I don't see you for whatever, and then you fall to the wayside. It's the one person that basically is maybe a little bit more, maybe not so gung-ho, that ends up kind of sticking around and putting up with the beatings and that learning process, because it's very physical, it's very hard on the body. Like, there's not a lot of things. It's not like, say, I don't want to pick on any sport, but it wouldn't be like golf where I can go and do that and leave, and on a good night I feel pretty good, and on even on a bad night I feel pretty good. Jiu-jitsu's not that way. Like, on a good night you still might feel like someone pushed you down the stairs.
On a good night you feel pretty bad. And
yeah,
you feel pretty bad.
But a lot of it is the approach and how you are as an individual, or your coach. Because, I mean, you do have coaches that basically, it's like they don't give you an option. You're going to go. And that was how my dad was, I think, at first. But I think he's really evolved over, because now I think it's the total polar opposite. Because when I poked, I was like, what is this, romper room? What the hell is going on in here? This is like, everyone's having fun. Everyone's smiling and joking, and this is, what are you guys doing in here?
So I'll play devil's advocate, because it strikes me, the three of you, because all three of you through your own individual things, and then through this too, but the three of you have progressed from when you all started, like, all good individually, like really, really good individually, and then progressed to a point where you become mentors for other people, right? Like, which is kind of the best part of this community, is the pipeline of passing on. So you're all really, really good at the craft or the crafts, and then you've all evolved to be able to communicate it back. Do you think, though, that although there is the need to explain the why, do you think that we have maybe reached a point where we need to introduce a little bit more
Structure.
Yeah, what is the word? It just, I'm not gonna say where we've got softness that's creeped
A
in.
reality check.
Yeah, no, but I'm
That's
just
what I was-
asking.
Sometimes you
That's-
just gotta fucking do it.
Yeah, okay, well, let's get to it. I mean, that's kind of right.
Yeah.
I mean, just
I totally agree with that.
I mean, yeah, you can have, like you're saying, it's great when you can complement that stylization with the intellect of the who, the what, the where, and the why.
Yeah.
You're doing what you're doing. I've given you all that. So now when you come up to me with an excuse of why this isn't working, or no.
this is
We've talked
bogus.
about it. We've talked about it already, and this is what you had to do,
I think I
right?
said someone last year was like asked a question. I said, just do the stuff we've talked to you about. Just
Yeah.
do that stuff. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like all the stuff that we've taught you, just do that stuff.
Don't
what we-
overcomplicate it.
That's
Like,
what.
yeah.
When I
It's
coached
good.
hockey, it was all about trying to create a lifetime love for the game with these kids.
Yeah.
But when you show up, you're at work,
Mhm.
and
You show up.
you're going to put in effort,
Absolutely.
because you're never going to regret a hard workout.
Mhm.
And really try to instill that
Yeah.
mindset into kids, because I told kids this my whole coaching career, that everyone plays beer league. It just takes some kids longer to get there than others.
Yep.
Right? May have a cup of coffee in the show, but guys are still coming back and playing beer league. And if you love the game, you want to go for beers and wings with your friends when you're 35 or 40, that is like awesome life goals. But you got to put the effort in, because I'm giving up my time to be here with you guys. So respect that. Respect the other kids that come here
Absolutely,
to work. And if you're not doing that, get out.
Find the door.
And that kind of mentality is what you need, but it also like with this program, less numbers, because it does get more serious, and like you lose some of the fringe players, but then you gain a lot.
Well, I wanted to ask you this too, because I heard this great interview before the Team Canada game, and they
The
interviewed.
Team Canada Women's?
Yeah. They interviewed some women that played across Canada, and they asked one about the biggest change that rugby's realized over the last few years. And this really hit home with me, because when I was playing in the 90s and early 2000s, you had to be recruiting all the time. So you had people coming into the programs. And she said that was the biggest thing that had changed, that she's seen over the last few years, is you don't need to recruit as hard because people are coming out to want to play. Are you seeing this?
Yes, but more on the women's side than the men's side.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, by leaps and bounds. Yeah,
Why?
there's more opportunity, I think.
Really?
On the women's.
On the women's side, it's a
They could get
more
more
growing
faster.
game. It's like there's
I think if you're athletic, because I know that's how it is for fighting.
like
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
Guy could come to me, tell me I want to be
World champion.
a world champion and and I'll be like, okay,
Great.
you've got.
Same with the other
This is
40
like-
guys in that class.
And no offense, this is going to be like Everest. It's doable, but you have to have the discipline to do it. A girl could come to me who's got some fundamentals and whatever, and say, I want to be this, and I could, now that I've done that once with one of my female fighters, it's kind of like, yeah, you could, like, when you look at the amount of competition that you potentially have, if you're remotely good, you can really excel in that sport and do very well. And I'm sure it's the same with any of the women's sports. If you've got some
Well,
really good
particularly the physical sports.
work
Yeah,
ethic
and-
and you know what I mean? Like, I think you
Well.
can really propel yourselves because there's not the same amount of competition, I think.
Yeah, and so with our program, like they created a league last year. So Saskatchewan and Manitoba doesn't have e-sport women's programs, but pretty much the rest of the country does. So we created with U of R and a couple teams out of Manitoba a league for our women's programs to play in. And so we've actually got that, so we can actually start recruiting and growing the game. But the growth is because there's no stigma in it, or there anymore. There shouldn't be. Like, I mean, it's a physical sport. Tons of people want to be involved in that. Lots want to play football. It's a place to go. It's a place to find success. It's a place to like grow your friend group and travel the world if that's what you want to do with it. That's what's kind of cool about rugby, and the same thing too. You can be,
and it fits any body style.
Yes, anybody can come play. Like it's we were in Calgary last weekend. We had 3 guys come out Monday and played with us on Saturday. Like,
never played before.
Never touched the ball before, and it's kind of like that's how our growth's coming. And like our women's team won a doubleheader 2 weekends ago, second year with the program in 15s, and like the growth is unbelievable that we're seeing. It's just having kids come in and stick. I think on the guys' side, there's that. They played hockey, football, basketball. It's still coming through university.
It's the big four that draws the athletes away.
And then if you're not doing that anymore, it's like, oh, I'm washed up and my body can't take it at 19 years old. and then honestly, we come out, play a game, and it's like, oh, like I could have been doing this whole time. Like, it's you hear it's dangerous, you hear it's whatever, but it's
or they just weren't exposed to it. Like, so I didn't hear about it. Like, I had students that played rugby. They're all crems, by the way. Other than
one of your instructors
other
played
than
for the
Beavis.
Travis played for
Travis, for the Gophers. Yeah. But there's like John Barron. I think he was. What was he? But Darcy Saunders.
Yeah, Darcy.
Old school guy. So you got guys like him, and I'm trying to think of like Mike McGuffin, who passed away just not too long ago. Great guy, long time student at the school for forever, right? But just one of those guys, and that's where when you were talking about how there's the community, there was a guy that I would say like that was his community. Like, because he was coaching, he had his place amongst, you know what I mean? He was kind of, he always kind of, I always enjoyed my conversations with him because you never know where they were going to go. And I would get random text messages, and they'd be like, okay, I just want to make this clear because a lot of guys are talking about A, B, and C. What is your thought process on this fighter and this fighter? And he'd ask me my question or thoughts, and I'd be like, no, this is what I think. He's like, okay. And then I think he probably went back and had these conversations.
Guaranteed.
and it was like saying, okay, guys, this is how it goes. But it was just, I could see that community, that was such a big part for him. You know what I mean?
But it's like you can be social and you can play professional and you're still going to come back to the same club team. So like the guys that play for New Zealand, if they're not playing that weekend, they'll play for their pro team. If their pro team isn't playing, they'll play for their county teams. If that's not, they'll play for their club team.
It's
one of those things where you've got this group of people together from all walks of life. That when you're on the field together, it's your job to you're all moving forward. Your job is to protect everybody else on your team. Yeah. Protect everybody else on the other team. Keep everyone safe. You go off after we made it through another one, and then we keep going, right? Like it's that kind of community. It's pretty special.
But I think that's like watching our time here. Maybe the last part is you picked a song. Ironically, it was called "Freedom." Yeah. Right, and so you stand a lot for that because I think, as you said on the street, some people may think of you as a bit of a free spirit. Yeah. It
was that or a Rolling Stone. So
right? Or the Wanderer, Johnny Cash, YouTube. Yeah. But I just think I'm really taking in this conversation because here's a person that the average citizen looks at as a free spirit and probably thinks they don't have structure, to your point, but like as much as maybe they do. And then I listened to this entire conversation, all the things you described, and I think you've actually lived a life because of this athletic pursuit that has introduced more structure for yourself, for Jess, for your family, for your friends, for your community, for your team, like in a free spirit way. Like I think it's just a really cool intersection, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Because you guys have all kind of done it the same ways. It's like exploring this the way that this community does it. Like I'm talking about the Old Guard athletics area. it allows you to kind of be yourself at the grassroots of like you can't turn it off and all this stuff. But to say that it's selfish or that it's unstructured or that it's crazy or that it's egotistical or it doesn't contribute, like
you can still be a free spirit
Right.
and have structure,
right?
right? Like
And
they're
not
they're
just-
not mutually exclusive.
Structure, but also like contribution. I mean, you guys volunteer,
Yeah.
right? Like you volunteer your time to help others.
Well, I'd get Tim Hortons coffee cards.
Well, okay, right? That's the big corruption of parent coaching. Anyway, I think just wrapping up here is it's a cool conversation to have that you brought forward, which is like you said, right? The structure, free spirit, this athletic lifetime pursuit. So stay safe. Don't stick your arm in boulders and by yourself. Get launch your car into the woods and stuff. But anyway, I mean, cheers for coming by and fist bumps.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we're gonna wrap it up just on time here. So cheers, everybody. Until next one.